Good evening. I didn't realize I was live. Hi all. Starting the stream slightly frustrated today because I had started yesterday's stream, and I think within 10 to 11 minutes my Virgin Media decided to cut out. Had to sneeze. I could feel it coming, so I just quickly hit the be right screen transition. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm a little bit frustrated today because I made quite a lot of progress yesterday, so now it's going to be a bit of a jump for those who have been continuing or following along this series. But I'll try and recap, try and keep it quite short, but we'll jump straight to it. So at the tail end of yesterday's stream, or even no, let's go back, start yesterday's stream, the whole idea was to finish cleaning up some of the items that were not properly working as should, with a few of our key skills. So mainly the handoff and the grow me skill wasn't working exactly how I would like it to work. So as a result, I ended up changing a few things, strengthening the workflows within Perplexity, in terms of like the integration that we'd done with Perplexity, and the handoff skill, the grill me, the planning skill. Perplexity for some reason was failing because of how it was storing the core key for authorization. It was storing it within, it was doing it via cryptography and a crypto key. We changed that to a pass key that we were storing in the environment, obviously in a folder that's not committed to the Git. So it gets skipped, so just to keep that secure. But the sessions for some reason kept picking up stale instances of Google Chrome. So whenever I'd start a new session and whatnot, it would load up or fire up a new Google Chrome instance, which didn't have any kind of like recollection, and then it would end up just stalling. So that kept causing the same error. So we've ended up fixing that. We've made the planning and grilling a little bit more robust as well, so that's in place. And then moving forward from that, I kind of ended up working quite late on this yesterday, just locally editing a few files, the good old-fashioned way, and then this morning I run the auditor as well, because I think that was something else that we were working on, just to improve how the auditor was working. And yeah, so we made quite a lot of progress off stream, and then we've ended up hitting quite a good junction, to be fair, today, in that I'm pivoting away from having such a reliance on Obsidian. So just because I'm just trying to preempt what I'm going to end up doing with this, and you know, the direction I'm going to end up wanting to go with this, I can't have a system or rely so heavily on another piece of software, essentially. So what I wanted to do is move all of this functionality out, because I've had to do a lot of compromise. We've tried different plugins and modules, but to end up getting this to the position that we want it to, we've had to do a lot of pivoting around, which in turn means that the product and the navigation isn't going to work in the same way that I would personally like it to work. It's not a great thing for me. And then the just the robustness in terms of like, if for example sake Obsidian releases a new update that then throws off our naming conventions, our structure in terms of the ingest, and then some of the other things that we've kind of plugged and rooted into it, that's disastrous. It means that I've got a core brain or core neural network sitting on a completely different platform that my, like basically the all of the logic within my system is relying on. So I can't have such a dependency. And I think it's been good to kind of go through the motions and build the application this way up until this point. And I think it is a good position to then pivot in or pivot from, because yeah, like you're going to be able to see why. But in terms of just increasing the functionality, having the full dependency in terms of having full autonomy over my code base, if I wanted to change how these features interact, how the neural network interacts, and mainly the navigation. I don't want it to jump straight from this nodal render straight to the list of conversations. I actually want the nodes to still remain. So for example, if I'm looking at something that's more of a project view, I can still browse around and see how certain projects are linked together, because I've got a ton of different projects I've got open. But then navigating through the projects, I can click a project and then see the conversations within that project, but still from this nodal view, so that connection and that visual neural network sort of format in the graph layer does not get lost. And that's kind of like one of the biggest hurdles I've not been able to overcome within Obsidian. And rather than just having to build things in a completely different way, let's do it right way. So that's the plan. That's the plan today. And then what else is there? I'm also not changing the frameworks, but yeah, I'll leave that as a surprise, just because based off of the amount of progress that we end up making. But in the background, I am soon pivoting away from being, working in this HI TL format, human in the loop format, and start offloading more of my decisions, more of my processes, and systemizing them. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do that, because yeah, like I've had to build things in a certain way. The last few sessions on this project, but because of the format and how it's working, it's allowed me to kind of revise and fine tune all the building blocks for this loop are there. But then I'm going to go through the motions and showing you how to connect that, and then I'll get it running on a separate project, so then you can see how we can then start to kind of work on a couple of projects at the same time, 3 or 4, and really amp up this build. So that's kind of what today, tomorrow, just the next few days are going to end up looking like. So just to kind of just bear with me, because I'm just sharing this really quickly. In fact, let me just quickly switch to BRB, just so I can quickly something out, and then we can get straight back into it. right, cool. I'm back. Sorry about that. Right, let me just move here. Just want to quickly continue with sealing this. And then to quickly pick up from this handoff that I was, the auditor was already. Right, I am, and this was one of the key reasons why put a lot of these things in a loop, but I wanted to make sure that the process was robust enough so that I can assess whereabout in the what in the loop needed to stay human, how exactly was going to be, what exactly was going to be the approach for handling things like the grilling session, the peer review sessions and things like that. But now that I've fine-tuned all of those things and adding perplexity into this process was really for me. I'm soon going to be able to hand this off for the rest of this particular build, because I think all of the core plans are in place. The rules and guardrails around slice creation, the Git organization in terms of the branch, naming conventions and things like that is all going to make it super easy for my audit layer, which when I build the loop is going to be the main feedback loop for the human in the loop interactions. So what I want to essentially happen when I build all of that, I've already got all of the core items in place, and over the last few videos we've been using those, we've been going through in terms of the edits that we've made and the quite heavy revisions that we've made to Matt Pocock's Grill Me phase, and then right, thank you so much, Teddy. So the heavy edits that we've made to Matt Pocock's Grill Me skill, in that we wanted to integrate perplexity into that, and then obviously we've got the handoff skill as well, which is now handling all of our context compacting, so that we've hard set that to check and make sure that we're always in that smart zone, so that we're not having to constantly fire up and check what the context window or the token utilization currently is. All of that is baked into a skill and specific hooks that are constantly running for every session. So all of these building blocks can now be placed into a loop, so that once we trigger that, all of these kind of bits can now be joined, so that I'm no longer having to sit here and prompt all of these things. And I think that we needed to do it that way to kind of get the data so that the concept works. We can see that all the authentication works between sessions for perplexity. All of the context utilization prompts are firing on each and every single session. The rules in terms of the slice and handoffs and all the gates that we've put in place are all working and firing. So now that we've actually proved those concepts, it's now going to be a heck of a lot easier to put all of these things into a loop and then just create the main plan based on our PR at the beginning, and then have the auditor that we've scripted that's got all the autonomy to kind of review what things have been committed and things of that nature, to do a slightly different job, still audit, but report back to me. So I'm having it kind of work as a senior lead on every single project build, and then it will come back to me and kind of just say, yeah, the code's all right. We're currently on slice 7. It's all working. It's all passed, you know, X amount of tests. Do you want to change any direction? And because we're not having everything committed to the main branch, it means that we've still got that swappability, but it doesn't stop progress. And I think that's where a lot of the loops that I'm seeing other AI engineers build, everything's still being committed, and it's still kind of so close to just trying to one-shot it every single time. Where we come up, you know, you'll be surprised. I'm using a link, an Insta360 link too, and I've got the settings set to 1080, 1080p, but because I'm using quite a small framing and small size, it does come out clean. But then with regards to OBS, I've got a 4K canvas, but I think it's just it's the lighting that kind of makes it look a bit cleaner than it is. If I was to blow up onto, might not look as clean. I'm not sure, Teddy. You let me know. But yeah, thank you for the feedback. Right, so that's where we're at now. And what I've actually been doing as well, and again, I'm going to put this into the loop. Thank you, sir. Thank you. What I'm actually going to put into the loop is this look ahead feature as well. So I've just finished slice 9, and it's just doing all the last bits and bobs in terms of getting all of that committed to the right branch. But I've also been implementing a look ahead. And this, again, is something that I derived from Matt Pocock's zoom out skill, because I thought, okay, you can zoom out and sort of see where you're at, but we need to do something a little bit more than that. So once I've got the current slice scoped, so for example, slice 9, that's scoped and in progress, that's pretty much completed. It successfully rendered everything. Once that's actually running, I've got another skill to actually plan the next body of work and still do all of the gap analysis and peer review, and then it just gets peer reviewed between several agents and Perplexity in terms of best practice, what's similar out there, what shortcomings can you see, and then always checking back against the initial spec for fitment so that we're not going off track for what I've actually asked for from the project. So that as soon as slice 9 is done, you've got slice 10 ready to kind of slot in and be approved, and that will be done by the orchestrator when we get this into an automated loop. So that's the next, after we've obviously finished removing the layer from Obsidian, that's going to be the next body of work. Just to kind of go back to that, I don't want all of these conversations to be tied down to this view. I've seen so many people kind of using this nodal view and doing all of this, but yeah, I've managed to get it all out of Obsidian and built our own infrastructure to handle all of this and remove all of the pain points that I was experiencing from Obsidian, so that all of the similarity matrices are working, all of the weighted connections between the two nodes are all working as should, so that the indexing is a lot better. I've not had to change a lot in terms of how all of this was just being ingested. The only thing that's changed is the rendering. We're doing it outside of that so that we're not having to rely on that particular application. So this is going to be good because it's almost finished committing the layer, so that we'll be able to kind of better navigate our core system, and then the rest of this build will start to pick up traction and work well. So just check in on where cool. So All right, brilliant. Slice 9 is 11. Okay, cool. So our new infrastructure with regards to our replacement for doing our node graph in Obsidian is actually now built. Now what I want to do is I'm going to start testing that, but I'll run a quick diagnosis skill so that we've got this. Cool. So it's just going to fire that up so I can have a look. While it's doing that, I just want to complete the peer review on slice 10 so that we can slot that next slice of work straight in. We've finished the gap analysis on this anyway, so we should be able to go straight into it. Given the gap analysis, build a name runner up. Yeah, so this currently running it's my own interpretation of the grill me skill, again, that Matt Pocock created. I'm gonna have to shout him out quite a few times. Again, with anything that you're placing into your own code base that you've gotten, from someone else's Git repository, do a fitment check. Make sure that it's aligned with, your way of working, your framework. Don't just put it in and kind of expect it just to do its own thing. It's not wise to do that because the initial skill is quite light, and I found myself kind of having to answer quite a lot of repetitive questions. So I had to take some of that out, and then there were some issues where I was like, okay, even though we're kind of doing like a peer review format, I was still having to kind of do triple touching on it. So I ended up just baking in my Perplexity search into it, and then giving it the option to fire up an agent with anything that was not so much system focused, or if we're doing like a new feature that didn't feature anywhere else, or an integration that didn't feature anywhere else in the system, to actually do a fitment check on it, see what the best practice is, see what the common issues are, and then bring that back as a report and see if any of those items mentioned are actually going to clash with our system. And then that helped kind of just eliminate certain routes that we could end up going down with the peer review, and that ended up removing quite a few of the questions that were being asked when I kind of put it in dry. So that was a good revision to make, and all of that and gonna end up shaping the loop once we build that, because without seeing that firsthand, we end up being in a position where we're using something that we don't understand. I actually want to enforce my auditor to do another. What is my auditor? So this isn't a skill. This isn't a hook. This isn't an agent. It's actually a compiled script, just so that it's how can I frame this? So it's completely contained, but at the same time we've got full control over what it can do, what it can't do. We've given it autonomy to read the code base within our project, fire off several different strength agents depending on what sort of task it's doing. So if it needs to read files and get context, it's using low cost Heiku agents. For anything where you know, maybe larger body of work is doing, I'm giving it higher ability models, and then at the end, for anything that's kind of assessment based, I have ramped it all the way up to the top rate models as well, just so that I'm in slight control of the cost of running it from a token perspective. And with regards to the sweeps as well, it's not sweeping every single file every single time. It's sweeping new commits that it hasn't read before and then doing a fitment check based off of the last summary that it wrote. And as with anything that I'm kind of doing that's writing summaries or creating draft plans or anything like that, I'm dumping it in my temp folder away from my project, so that all I'm doing is logging a reference number. So let's say, for example, here the hook recorded AA 1080A. That's a reference number that is in a log somewhere, so that if an agent needs to kind of find something, it will link that reference number to a specific file within the temp folder, and then go and look at that. So again, it's not adding bloat to my project directory, so that if anything is looking within the project directory to keep it clean, there's not too many kind of like messy files and creating noise and things like that. So again, just burning burning tokens for assessing context. So everything like that is done completely outside of the project folder. And it's the same thing with handoffs as well. All of the handoffs are written and saved to my temporary folder. And then the log itself, or the reference that it's given, the agent goes and reads it from there, assumes the context, and then everything that it needs to do within the code base is within obviously the project folder itself, so that it's giving it less up and down, less kind of traffic to read through, less noise to read through, and it keeps my code base clean. So I'm just triggering another run of that. So anchor turn through core position, the drift robust access links earlier, cross session notes, share notes, plans default, enough returns to match vocabulary first, balance, precision first, errors anchor. Go for a balanced approach. And obviously with all of these things, because I'm not committing them to the main branch, do you need to actually commit in a sec. Also, I'm just spinning up. I'm about to spin up and see what this actually. Oh. Very rough, I will tell you. I'm gonna share it on the screen in a second, but I'm baffled at the Atlas, whatever. Yeah. this looks crazy. But it's a starting point, so I'm going to actually just drop it a screenshot just so that it's got a visual reference of what's actually been built. But I'll tell you now, it's not Obsidian. I mean, I can see that there is weighting applied. It's trying to do the saturation, all the links and things like that are there. But no, we need our core hub and our neural network to look a lot sexier than this. Right, so let me just pull this up. It's going over to OBS. So this is what put together so far. So we've still got similar functionality in terms of being able to drag and move things around. And then hopefully, yeah, when we click into it, it brings up all of the various conversations, which is good. And then click into one of these. Cool. So when I trigger one of these on the right hand side here, it tells me what that conversation was, which is good. Do you know what I mean? It's done. The navigation is there. I can't fault that. Top connector bridge. No, let me verify. Nothing was lost and compare to files. Open full note. Yeah, like I can't fault it. I can't fault it too much. But visually we can do better. So let me quickly explain what this is. So this is a navigation shortfall that I was facing within Obsidian. So bring up Obsidian. So within Obsidian, I currently got all of these conversations, and what I wanted to happen was hey, how you doing? So what I wanted to happen was to have this as a neural network for every single conversation that I've had, or any interaction that I've had with AI. And then this is essentially going to end up building a cockpit for my ADHD. Oh, okay. Hey, Danny. So yeah, what I'm building is a dashboard and mentor. To kind of help me. I've got ADHD, so when I'm working on projects, I've got several different things that I'm thinking about. I'll make progress on one, I'll hit a roadblock, and then I'll get distracted, move over there, and then you end up losing track of where you're going when the dopamine runs out. So what I'm building here is, as you can see, this is just a sample size, by the way. So it's just a node view of all of my conversations with AI and whatever else. So if I click, trying to just make sure that everything's in view on the screen. So click one, and then it ends up opening, right? But I didn't like how that was navigating within Obsidian, and I didn't want to rely or build a system that depended on in Obsidian, because I want to be able to do a lot more with all of that data than just being able to view it in a different format. So when I built it within Obsidian, I'm finding that the navigation isn't how I want it. So I've moved this feature out because I don't want to be stuck. If it updates, or if Obsidian updates, then the rest of the system that I'm building on top of what this conversations tell me is just going to be, it's going to be crazy. So what I've ended up building on top of this, or making the pivot, yeah, sure, man. Send a link, or drop a link, and then I'll review it. But yeah, so what I ended up building is this. And this was just a pivot that I made yesterday. It looks ugly as hell right now, but it fixes the navigation problem that I was facing, and I'm about to obviously tweak things, but at the moment I want to make sure that the functionality is all there, and then obviously I can fix the visuals and things like that and get it closer to how Obsidian looks and feels. So I've got all my projects here on the outside, and they're all linked and related in a similar way. And then when I click into it, so that was a project. I've clicked into it, and then I've got all of these inner joins and inner nodal views that are weighted. They've got different strengths and things like that to them. And then if I click on that, then I can see what the conversation actually was. So this is how I wanted it to navigate within Obsidian, but Obsidian wasn't doing that, so I've kind of built it outside of that. But this is going to end up framing my... Can you see the site above? No, I can't see any. I can't see the site above. Send it to me on yeah, just send it to me on X. Find me on X. Just drop me a DM, and then I'll be able to have a look at it. So yeah, so this is essentially where we're at. So I'm gonna give a system feedback just to say, yeah, it looks rough around the edges, but it's functionally working how we built it to work. Yeah, it's actually, it is crazy good, but I don't want to build, for what I'm building, I don't want to have to rely completely on Obsidian. If it navigated and everything else the way I wanted to, then yeah, that's cool. But because of what I'm building and the sensitive nature and not having to, I don't really want to have to rely on another system, because if I then go commercial with this, or if I want to build it as a business kind of dashboard or MIS system, I don't want to be completely tied down to someone needing to use Obsidian to use the system, right? That's my thinking anyway. So I just want to just quickly give this the peer review. Say it visually, it looks bad, but it does what it's supposed to do, which is good. So then at least we can work on the visuals later. Right. Cool. So let me see. So I'm just letting the agent know that, yeah, functionality wise it works. But so I've given that feedback. I want to just quickly building my own. Oh, okay, cool. So what harness are you using? What do you build in? Change how far back my thread reach. Cap policy. Give me a second, sir. Make sure I still got my authenticator on my phone. Yeah, I'll drop my Discord in. I'm just logging in just to make sure I can actually authenticate. All right, I'm just logging in. Yeah, just look. Been a while. Yeah, just you can search me on the same. Just put in Axel Corp on Discord. Be able to get me if you're still on. Yeah, it's Axel. Yeah, just yeah, just drop me a message on there and search me on that. That's my Discord ID. Just refresh it. Refresh it. Refresh it because I've just changed my username. Yeah, 100%. I've literally just changed my username on Discord. Nah, it's literally just Axel Corp. All right, wait, just one sec. One sec. I'll show you. There's no numbers or anything. Just Axel Corp. All right. Just gonna quickly get back to this build. But yeah, just anywhere that you can find on social media, just drop it on IG, wherever, X. Just search for Axel Corp and DM me, and then I'll be able to have a look. Oh, and then okay, I think this might be, yeah. All right, yeah. Drop me a message. Nice one. I've got that. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll look through this. What did you want me to do the review live, or do you want me to do it right now? Cool. Have you got this working already? Okay, cool. So, are you happy for me to put this up on the screen, or as in what you've just shared, or do you want me to just to talk through it? Okay. Okay. Cool. So first things first, well, let me just pull this up just so that we can get it onto the screen. So it's shared. To mute that. So, all right. Cool. I'm just getting this so that it's. So that's the system that we're reviewing. Okay, so that you've got a desktop client, electron, and you're using Tailwind. Local get tree range. Okay, cool. So is this going to be a local LLM build? What's the plan? Is it Is it going to be a local LLM build? Move my OBS to the other screen so I can see your feedback. Okay. No, this is definable. Nice. And like, what industry are you building this within? Okay, you're running 2 virtual private servers, one with 25. Okay, no GPU on both. Okay, so then what sort of token utilization are you planning to use with that? Because in terms of the resources available to you, and just running this efficiently, what are you looking at? What, 120k token system? Have you looked into that part yet, just to kind of scope out your infrastructure? I use the latest framework of AI automation, TypeScript. Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm just thinking, just in terms of the LLM you mentioned that you're using Amara LLM. I use Anthropic key, API key, and open. Okay, cool. So, but with your Anthropic API key, because you're using this locally, how's that going to be? Oh, okay. No, but even if you're not good, this is what I'd always say. Like, when you're designing a system like this, try and get your whatever AI tool that you use. I'm guessing because you're using I'm guessing if you're using Anthropic API, you've already got Claude subscription. Just do a peer review session with it, just each layer. That's what I would recommend, number one. With regards to your LLM and one-way tokens, that's all fine. But then your Anthropic API and Open Router, that's going to be expensive. Just because, again, your API usage or the API calls just going to be costing you a lot more tokens. You need to be thinking about ways to constrain the token usage, making sure that your routing, let's see what it's saying about the routing. I'm just concerned about this. Okay, cool. So you're using Claude. Could you not implement, because if this was all running locally, may it not be better cost to do like a headless Claude Code work or anything like that, agents, rather than using the API, like the Anthropic's API down the bottom? I haven't got it your document fully open. It's actually using the caching thing with agentic SDK. Okay. But even with that sort of thing, try not to rely on the system to do the caching for you. Okay, so I'll jump back to my project in a second, and then I'll show you in terms of how I'm controlling token costs and things like that. It's not really, it's more for this build stage. But there are systems that I've put together that rely on token utilization and how you can actually, reduce that. Just reviewing this. So how and you need to think about how you're actually going to trace the calls, because you've mentioned that you do it tracked. Okay, cool. Okay, nice. Vault, local Git clone written in electron. Nice. I can see now why you mentioned that you loved the Obsidian. Okay, cool. So, our structured tool. Yeah, you need the trace. You need a tracing. You need a tracing tool, because there's no way that you're gonna track the LLM calls if there's no tracing layer. The agent systems are not deterministic, so without a span level of tracing, like open telemetry, or anything like lang fuse, whatever else like that, you're going to be debugging like yourself. So you're still going to be wired in and checking all of the logs and things like that. You need to put in a layer that's actually tracing the traffic through your system, upstream or downstream, whichever way you want to do it. Oh, okay, cool. So you did use langfuse. Yeah, just otherwise you'd have ended up being there and watching all of the logs yourself. So no, that's good. That's good that you've considered it. Have you put that on your diagram though? Maybe put that on your update the diagram, just so that it's more accurate. Because then that way you've got a full view of your system, in terms of what it's actually doing. Okay, it's V1. Okay, got it. All right. No, it's good. It's good. Okay, cool, nice. Yeah, just drop it me on. This is good, man. Really, thank you so much for sharing. Drop it me on Discord, and yeah, we can chop it up if you need any more advice and things of that nature, man. It'd be dope. Right, let me get you. I'll check in with that in the background. Just picking up because I've got a couple of decisions here that have come back. I need to make sure that I'm not losing track of the of the build. Right, so where were we? All right, nice. So when the nodes cap, okay, calls the earliest node. So we need to go back to this as well. Just going to give us further position critique the gap in which browser the physics approach. In which browser physics the video installed or the deterministic approach. So the vendor first high quality force layout, continuous live simulation, nodes keep floating and heaviest on the ground. Want it to be as close to that as possible. Yes, I want to launch my auditor as well. All right, I'm just checking in to see if you've sent me anything back, sir. Okay, nice dashboard. Yeah, I can see the logs on your Maestro view, by the way. It's nice. Um what happens, how are you handling the data collector schedules? 'Cause obviously that's running every single hour. How are you keeping that contained? Um no, I'm just literally just looking. I'm just looking. I haven't done anything with it. I'm just looking. I'm just asking in terms of like, obviously your schedules. Yeah, you're running it every single hour on Maestro. So try and maybe reduce that if you don't need it every single hour. That's what I would say. Um, and then let's see. But it's a good tracker. What you know, with this sort of thing, why don't you do it as you know, like a back end helper? Okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right, bro. But yeah, but lock that down though. Lock it down. Just that I'd love to share and gather feedback. Yeah, no, it's good, man, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do that as well. And it's good to see, man. Keep up the good work. See, let's stay in touch. And yeah, just keep, if you need an accountability partner just to check up on you, make sure that you're still building your system and it's still making progress, because I know that I need that from time to time, you know, just someone to just, if I know that, oh, you know what, someone's gonna check up on me and I need to make sure that I've made some progress on this, or I've fixed this error that I've been putting off. Yeah, just let me know. But no, it's really solid work that you've done there. And keep pushing, man. Keep pushing, keep building, keep testing yourself. Um, and it will pay off. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, man. Bless you, bro. Thank you. Right, cool. So yeah, I did open the link. I did open the link. Mm, let's have a look. Which one do you want me to open? TVC. The only one that says DVC is your admin portal. I don't really want to open your admin portal on live stream. Literally switch it to focus on it. Oh, okay, nice. That's, it's solid work, man. Solid work. It reminds me of something similar that I've built, but I don't know if it's safe. I don't know if it's safe to show. So when you're ready. Okay, yeah. Nice. I appreciate it. I'll definitely need it. Um yeah, there's a project that I'm actually working on at the moment. See the schedule task, nice. There's a project that I'm working on for, yeah, like scrapes local authority spending. So let's say, for example, um you are a marketing consultancy, right? Can you show mine in the stream? Sure. Yeah, but I need to confirm which one that you want me to show, because the one that says DVC, I'm looking at the admin. Oh, let me just confirm with you to make sure it's the right one. Is that the one that you want me to run? Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. See, I'm just making sure that you trusted me with your with your security. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Um, super careful with. I'm being super careful with the scaling, just so that it doesn't appear at the top. And as I said, man, this is to keep up the hard work on this, man. It's a really powerful system and dashboard that you've got here. Obviously, you've already mentioned that you've got your data scaler. You're gonna scale that down so that it's not running every hour. So your data collector, and scale that down. But you know, this is a good scraper, a very, very good scraper. You've got me tempted to show you something similar that I'm working on for a client. It's running on AI automation. Let me show you something that I've built now, because this is where we're getting to. Just give me a second. I'll run it's a similar sort of tool, but let me go into Claude. But I'm gonna have to. Okay, it can grab your analytics. So open a division thing. Dev division. Is that a different link, or you'll get more? Is that a different link? Yeah, it must be a different link. Just nice. It looks like Git. This one, nice. I like the visuals. All right, while that's loading up, I'm going to load up Docker so I can also showcase to you something that I've been working on. So just give me a sec. Oh, this is nice. Right, I'm just firing up Docker because I think we're now at that stage of the evening where we're showcasing our data project. So I'll quickly flash something on screen, and then I'll have to take it off because it's not quite built yet, and it contains some sensitive info. So just give me a sec. Let me fire it up. If you can type in the comments. No, it is good. It is good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's nice. Right. Yeah. If you go to projects. Okay, yeah, nice. Okay, this is like a tracker. Yeah, it's still minimal. Yeah. No, this is nice. I built something similar. I'm gonna show you anyway. I'm just opening up Docker. I don't know if you use Docker at all on your builds. So I'm just gonna share something else. So give me a second. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm firing up Docker so I can fire up one of my dashboards and scraping projects to show you as well. Something that I've built. I'm just getting it ready to deploy to a Linux dev server and production server. Just so that I can obviously build on dev and then deploy upstream to a production server. Doc deploy for the stack. Okay, nice. Yeah, so I'm just firing it up locally on my end, and then I'm starting up my OpenEMD. Yeah, no, this is sweet. This is good. When I build my loop, I've got a project. I'll show you on my cursor just so you can see that it is there. I built something similar to this, just so that I can view exactly what my agents are doing. Okay. Nice. Oh, this is good. This is like it's good. Yeah, no, it's good for, yeah, no, it's good. Because you can see you've got all of your gates in there and your slices. So it's good for, again, for compacting works as well and doing things in good sprints. Defining your projects as well. And obviously you've got your design tasks as well. So I think it's like similar to kind of like DevOps, or Trello or anything like that in terms of like engineering, project management, that sort of thing. And task tracking. I'm guessing this is what you this for. Is this nice? Yeah. Because you'd obviously, you drop in all of your PRs, all of your specs and things like that. And then I'm assuming if you wanted to kind of use it in that sense, you'd point your agents to something like this. So specific agents can look at specific tasks, get their briefs from there, create work packages, and then they can obviously start working. Yeah. Yeah, nice. That's really good. The one thing I hate about Docker locally, it takes so long to actually fire up. I'm still waiting for my local servers to fire up all the databases and stuff like that to go through their health checks and whatever else. But I'm going to show you that one project, and then I need to actually get back to the build. You've done a very good job at distracting me today, but not in a bad way. I've actually enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the items that you've showed me, and I think it's really good work. So man, keep it up, keep pushing forward. Yeah. And I bet you that's cut down so much in terms of development time as well. You being able to push out a ton of work like that as well, bro. So yeah, well done. Let me I'll refresh, and then now my project is also loaded up. So nice. Now this is good. This is very good. So yeah, I'll just quickly show you something that I've built. Again, similar. So this is a dashboard for corporate, for businesses. It's got all of like the local authorities and things like that, and then from here they can see all of the spending all of the invoicing and spend that they've had from like government, and this is being scraped from various different portals as well. So you can see here some of it is not checked, or the link's not verified, and whatever else. So it gets the data, CSV, PDF, spreadsheets, or any different formats, and then it ingests it. So I'll show you. I can start a tracking job here, and then from here it will list them all as pending, and you can see here scrape jobs are queued up. So then I can go to specific council or authority, run the scrape. So now this is using, again, built with several different Python tools and stuff like that. It'll go off, it'll scrape the data, localize it, ingest it, remove all of the random spend that's not associated, and then from there it will add it all to this central pool and this central dashboard. But some of the items are not connected yet for some reason, because Docker's just being crazy slow. But then from this they can use it to see where their opportunities to grow are and things like that. Yeah, so this has been kind of what I'm working on in the background, and this is going to be like production ready in like 10 days, I think. All of the proof of concepts are finished, all of the smoke tests are finished. I'm now just deploying it to Linux, and then I'm running it on the organization's servers, and then yeah, just see the same way that you had your data pool, the scrape running every hour. I've changed this to just twice a day, and then I thought, okay, they're not going to be tracking spending twice a day, so then maybe I'll do it once a week. So you have to kind of just manage your resources in terms of how often you're scraping. But yeah, this dashboard's going to be, it's good to ship. Yeah, Firecrawl is good, but I ended up building my own just because there's the data is all in different formats. And with Firecrawl, you don't really have as much autonomy in terms of like being able to completely control how it ingests it, how it denoises it, and things like that. Whereas with this, so if I go into Cursor real quick, so if I go into Cursor really quickly and open up my directory for that project, now doing it, and that's the other thing as well. So we're doing it within Python. It allows me to do it without worrying about limits and things like that. So you can see here. So if I go to my I'm just trying to think what I can show you that's not going to be sensitive. Cool. So I've got all of the different so I've got obviously all of the different scrapers, multiple authentication and things like that. Yeah. You see, this is that's the thing. So once you hit a tool where you're having to pay for pay to play, sometimes it is easier just to build your own nowadays. Obviously we've got AI to help us. I just ended up building my own, and then I've got full control of what it's doing, full control of all the different features that I want it to have, features for let me show you. So they've got the various API. Exactly. That's it. Yeah. So indexing all of this sort of thing. I've got denoising, removing duplicate data, formatting it properly, you know, adding several different rules and things like that. The analytics, you end up, it's easier sometimes just to build your own because you know exactly what you want. Yeah, exactly. So it's easier just to build your own, and that's kind of where I'm at now with this particular project, where I had issues with how Obsidian was behaving, so I ended up not building my own version of Obsidian. And just to kind of go into more detail, you asked me at the beginning what I was building. So this is going to be all of my AI conversations, right? So what I've done is done an export from Claude, an export from ChatGPT, an export from, and that's from the web chat. And then obviously I've also got them pointed to a folder with all of my local Claude Code, local codex conversation and things like this. So then now I've got max subscription, so it ends up being worth it. I've got the max subscription for Claude Code and GPT. I get that through subsidized. So doing it this way, I wanted to be able to I wanted to be able to get all of this into a core neural network, and then start to actually use the data in terms of prioritizing my work and things like that. So this is just the baseline foundation of this, just to get all of this reading correctly, and then being able to see how they're connected. And you see the different sizes. That's based on the strength of that conversation as well. And then you've got different layers on top, like the saturation as well. You see some of the oranges are darker, some of them are gray and things like this. So I ended up building all of this, and this functionality obviously it's not within Obsidian. I had to do this at the data level, at how it's actually being ingested, and do that all within Python, so that when it goes in, the data has specific tags that mean different things. So for prominence, for for similarity, for recency, so how new is the conversation. But then after that, Obsidian gets stuck, because once I click to actually go into a conversation, it can see and open a conversation up. Obsidian opens the conversation, but I don't want the conversation to open on the first click. Yeah. How they link? Yeah. How they linked, all of that thing. So that's similarity, isn't it? Yeah. So that's called similarity bias. So again, I've all of the how they linked logic and things like that. I've done the lexical similarity. So that means that if they include the same words, then I'll pair them and do the weighted pairing, rather than trying to do it on semantic. So if they've got words that mean the same thing, that's going to be way too many connections, and it's going to be too noisy, right? So once I've got, this is just a sample size, by the way. This is just 30 conversations. There's over 3,000 nodes or something like that need to go in. That's just from Claude, and then GPT's got like 9,000, and so on and so forth. But once all of this logic is created, obviously I hit this roadblock. I want to be able to click and then go into the next layer, but still look like, like a network like this, only when I actually get to the message. So let's say, for example, if I go into this message, no, it's a weird message. Let me go into, I'm gonna go into something where it can actually show you. Okay, cool. So not that one. Sensitive. Right. So anyway, I've built obviously all of this markdown in terms of whether it's me that's the message is from, or whether it's the agent. All of this kind of thing is already linked in, and you can see at the top as well. You can see at the top as well, it's got all of the recency, when was it, link, not link, signal strength, and all of that. But that's where I hit the roadblock. So that's kind of what triggered me to go and build it in a different format, so that I can have a bit more control, and the navigation will be fixed. Yeah. The navigation will be fixed. It's good, you know what I mean? Obsidian is good for what it is, but because I'm using that as how do I explain it without giving too much information? You can hire someone to organize. Yeah, so this is what I'm building. You see what you just said? Yeah. So this is exactly what I'm building. So, but I need the data to all be in a good place. Then on top of that, I can now manipulate it better. So that's where we got to here. That thing. That's where we got to this, because at least now the navigation here is working. So all of these external ones are the projects. When I click, it opens up the inner nodes. And then when I click, that then opens up the conversation, right? And that layer is not possible within Obsidian. So Yeah. So yeah. So essentially this is now what I'm fixing today, and then at the same time, while I'm building and doing all of that sort of things, I'm just talking about best practice. So yes, I'll get back to Cursor, and then you can see what I'm doing. So slice 9, we're currently just going through the iteration, because that doesn't look right. I don't like how it behaves. I want it to look polished like Obsidian. But you can see here the context window is flagging soon, so just give me a second. All three exports are confirming the bundle. Okay, cool, so that's fine. So while that's doing that, I'm just going to finish off the planning for slice 10. For me, I don't use it anymore because at the end I figured out I have 4 volts. Yeah, exactly. Once you've got more than a couple of volts, it just becomes messy again. Do you know what I mean? You're better off using you're better off just using Notion sometimes, you know. Cool. So we're just planning out slice 10 as well, so the next work package after this one. So that's going to be finished soon, and then we can start peer reviewing. No, it's all good, man, don't worry. You kept the conversation flowing, don't worry. It's no stress at all. But yeah, so this is all doing its thing in the background. I've also launched my auditor, so that's doing a sweep of the new commits, just making sure that everything is fine. While that's doing that as well, I am actually in the background peer reviewing, handing over the what? Okay, cool. So handing over the build tasks. Yeah, no, I'll check it out. The stuff that you've dropped on Discord, bro. Thank you. I will check it out. Cool. So the second sweep is done. And again, no finding. Sorry, the sweep's no finding is not trustworthy. And that's actually a thing that makes sure I traced and I did a report, blah blah blah. Determinism generally hardened. Okay, cool. So this is following the most recent change we've done by building our own graph node or graph render to replace Obsidian, but it's flagged a couple of things here. No defects have been found. It's reviewed all 9 slices. It's just checking back on its false clean finding. Right, so this plan for slice 10 is also submitted. So what we want to do is actually cross to our peer review. So no, I'm not going to accept the plan. Accept the plan because we want to do a peer review of this build. Okay. So that's is starting. Leave that to run. Background. Cool. And then this is what I'm going to be building soon as well, probably tomorrow, just in terms of putting all of this into a loop so that I'm not having to be as hands-on. But I like to be hands-on because it helps me kind of just understand and have a lot more control over the modules, the layers, the files, the logic that I'm actually building, rather than just trying to one-shot everything or vibe code my way into building systems. If I do it this way, at least I've been able to show you the orchestration layer, which is quite thin. I'll show you the handoff logic, the context minimization logic, the system logic, the planning logic as well, so that when I do end up putting it into a loop, I can trust that the process that I've been following is good enough, and when the agents follow it, it's gonna be accurate. So I'll build that in. I'm probably gonna build that in a completely separate window so that we can test it on a different project environment, just to make sure that it's working. And then we'll drop it in for probably slice 11 onwards, because I want to make sure that I get this particular slice completely correct, and then I'll be able to build on top. So cool. It's just doing all the ring fencing. We still don't want the mentorship layer on this. We don't want any kind of LLM layer on this yet, because we're still working completely on just the data ingesting. We're working on improving the data outlook, and the cleanup phase and how it's actually being rendered. We're not doing anything with the data that's linked to intelligence just yet. So I want to make sure that all of that is captured correctly before we try and do anything crazy. I could land somehow in regards to setting up of my own Claude planning thingy. What you need? You need help setting up your own skills and stuff? I'll probably end up posting it into a repo. So not into a repo, onto my Git, and then at least that way it's public. But I'll give you a link. I'll post a link if you search for Matt Pocock, because a few of the ones that I'm finding now and using now as a baseline, especially for the sort of projects that you're building as well, that's like a good baseline. But I would say don't paste them in, or like copy and paste and create skills and then start using it like that. Open a period. Yeah, it's just sometimes he started. Yeah, I think with the hallucinating, your context window needs to be tiny, my bro. So you'll see in a second. I'll show you in any of my conversations. This is something that I actually baked in. Yeah. So this is something that I baked in. I'll show you. So for example here, yeah. So check my context window. If it's on, okay, so this is currently way too high. I shouldn't be anywhere near this, but I think I've had this running for a while because it was fixing something. Yeah, so I don't like to break it up in between, but you'll see it probably warned me several times. Yeah, 1 sec. So you see that it warned me several times that my context window's too high, but because it was already in a loop, yeah, so I end up triggering something that I call a handoff, and that basically summarizes everything, and then moves it to the next one. So here obviously it's an option. So what I can do now is, instead of answering this particular question, what I'm gonna end up typing is trigger handoff, or sorry, off. So what this is gonna do, so you can see here at the bottom, all I've done is ask it to says the user invoked a handoff skill. So yes. So what this is going to do is get all of this conversation, compact it, but not save it in the project file, because obviously you don't want your agents starting to hallucinate because there's too much context or content within the actual project directory. So you see, it makes this reference, then it sends it to my temporary folder on my C drive so that it logs it there. So then when I start the new session, it's just going to go and read the context from just this conversation in the temp folder, get everything that it needs from context. Then it can come back and reference everything within the code base, and it's not going to burn too many credits, and then I can carry on just working, and it has all of the context saved. So this is a clean way to compact things. But because this, you see here, I had to trigger it manually because I'd already gone way past my limit. Every session that I start, it automatically tells me, like, you know, you're nearly at the limit. Can you consider doing a handoff, right? Yeah, but even if you're working from a VPS, you can bake, you should be still able to create hooks. So hooks, there's something that you're triggering at the start of every session. So don't think about it as a skill or a tool or a rule or MD or anything like that. Hook is a Python script, helper scripts that you can create that have hard set rules that you run at the start of every session. So hook, for example, for me is signing in and making sure that the perplexity is authenticated at the start of every session. Hook is just anything that requires you to do several things that you need throughout the session, essentially. So when you trigger a hook, using it as a hook instead of a skill, you should still be able to call a skill even if you're using a VPS to connect, because as long as it's in the directory, it should still be able to reference it, right? So these are all just, again, good concepts to have. It's best practice to have, and it stops your agents from hallucinating. It really stops your agent from hallucinating. Okay, cool. So you can see here, the handoff is recorded. So now if I go to a new session and just say continue from handoff. You can see at the top, it's thinking. It's thinking about what do you mean handoff. Gonna prompt me. It's now gonna read the schema. It's getting all of the context. And then there should be two options because I think I've got two handoffs that are not committed at the moment or not continued. So then it might ask me which handoff do you want me to take over from? Yeah, so it's getting confused because I've got a couple of things that have not been picked up from handoff. Yeah, I think I got distracted. You distracted me earlier. Right. Okay. So that will catch up with itself in a second. Anyway, so this handoff is already done. Okay, cool. So while we're doing all of that stuff, it's saying that this this project should now have obsidian behavior. This is a lot. Oh my god. Okay, cool. Right, but getting myself confused. So cool. So we need to eyeball and then ship. So right, so what I want to actually be able to do on this. Okay, cool. So where are we on this task? So I'm going to close this just to avoid confusion. Let's get that reviewed and working. Slice turn. The plan agent returned. That's fine. We'll get that to start peer reviewing in a second. The audit sweep. Close that for now because I don't need it. Skill. See where we're at. by zooming out. I think this is a global scale and not local. And all of this is going to be able to allow me to do is just to zoom out in terms of the slices of work that we're doing, see where we're at in terms of this build. This actually would work. This skill would work really well as a visual representation to what Noof showed us. That he's built. But yeah, this is essentially doing a similar thing, but just from the code base. Just being able to just zoom out, see where we're at with the build, see where we're at with the project, see what files have been committed, see what slice we're on and how far we actually are from the target for this actual project and this development. So I just want to just take a quick snapshot of where I'm at. And I'll probably pick this up tomorrow. I'm getting quite tired. And yeah, we're nearly at the 2-hour mark, so I'm probably going to end this here. Just by running a quick zoom out, just so I can reorientate myself. Project. And the progress that we actually want to make. And then yeah, I'll pick up tomorrow's stream. Once I'll probably end up fixing some of the visual issues with the nodes offline, so I'll sort that out so that we're in a position tomorrow to actually get on with the actual intelligence layer that we're going to put on top of the nodes, because we've spent quite a long time on just getting the data in correctly, getting it visually where we want it to be, getting all of the relationships built the way that we want to. That's all done nicely now. It's just the finishing touches just to make the new system closer to what Obsidian does, how the physics behave in how the physics behave in Obsidian, and then from there we'll push tomorrow with the intelligence layer. Yeah, I'm gonna just quickly sort this out because I'm getting a bit tired, man. It's 12:30. Gotta take my daughter to school in the morning, so can't work too late, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna review some more of your projects, and then I'll send you some links for all the skills and stuff. But give me a shout tomorrow. Just drop me a message on Discord. And then yeah, if you want like a quick call on how to. Now, thank you, my bro. You have a good one as well. All right, cool. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next stream.